All right, we are with QB coach Sam Fisher from the QB Throwdown Camps. How you doing today, Coach Fisher?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah. All right. So we both just got back to Southern California from your area. So we were at Las Vegas over the weekend. Fantastic camp, by the way. Thank you for having me out. But before we get to that, so those that are watching this may not know about your background history with coaching. If you will, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I came to LA to be an actor actually, and I'm from Northern California. I came out here to act, and I ran that gauntlet for about 5 or 6 years, and somehow found my way back into sports. And I wasn't planning on being a quarterback coach. I ended up working with one junior high kid in the park down the street, and it kind of just blossomed from there. So I did it because I still loved football, but I hadn't been around the game in a while. And then it just kind of sparked the love and passion of helping these kids, and been doing it full time ever since 2014.
Oh wow! Well, you've come a long way in that time frame. So, speaking to that, you have a proven track record of developing fantastic arm talent. Who are some of the kids that you've trained over the years?
Wow, that's a long list. I was trying to think about that. The names that I'm proud of right now are probably the ones that are getting like the first college experience, or they're graduating this year from high school, because those are the kids where I was really uh, close with from sixth, fifth grade, and they're actually starting to blossom now. And that's right now, it's a really special time because I've coached a lot of kids all over the country, but I've got about 9 to 10 of got like those guys that you just know, or they've been your boys since day one. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So like the Finn Collins, the Cole Lords, the Zach Siskowitzes, the Justin Martins, all these guys that are fantastic human beings, but great quarterbacks. And we've just been grinding for years. And they're like I don't know if they're my nephews, my little brothers, or my sons, but they're certainly, I feel like they're family. And the list goes on, man. There's so much talent in LA, and I'm fortunate to have some amazing quarterbacks that I've been able to help get better.
Another similar trait we share: when I interview the kids, I always tell them, think of me as your crazy uncle that's here to help. So just keep me in the loop, let me know what's going on. So there's a commonality there, wanting to take care of the kids and helping them any way that you can, and feeling that love for them. So yeah, we do share that. So let's talk about your workouts. So your individual workouts and/or with a group of kids. What are some of the areas you focus on with them? What's important to you as a quarterback coach?
Tempo. I think fast, I talk fast, I coach fast, and it gets me in trouble in a lot of different areas of my life. But I think as a football player in general, not just as a quarterback, you got to be quick on your toes. You've got to be a step ahead, and the quarterback game is about anticipating and being a step ahead, not a step behind. So I really go hard with footwork, anticipation. Of course, we're always breaking down the ins and outs of QBIQ and what we're trying to accomplish against coverages and what we see. But for me and my style, and I think my guys would attest to, it's just tempo. Let's get reps. Let's get reps. Let's get reps.
Now, you may have already answered this, but what is your philosophy as a quarterback coach? Is there anything different than what you've already shared with us?
I think the philosophy is you need to be good at being good. Like, you have to understand that it's more than just throwing the ball. You are walking around as a quarterback in your life. It's not 1 hour out of a week or a day working as a quarterback. You want to be a quarterback, and you want to be a successful quarterback, and you want to do it in LA. There's got to be a different strut to walk. There's got to be a different way of you looking at things, big picture, small picture, how you treat your family, how you treat your friends. The philosophy is, you want to be a general, you got to live like a general, and be willing to take risks, be willing to fail, but be humble in your pursuit, and go get it, man. Be aggressive.
I like that. I'm with you on that. So let's get into the actual camp. So again, was there on Saturday. It was great. How long have you been doing the QB Throwdown camp?
I did my first throwdown in 2016, and it was at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, and it was awesome. It was I thought some of the best quarterbacks that I still have been around were there. Ryan Holinsky was the winner of the first one, and he was a sophomore. I don't think he even was on the map yet as far as getting any offers or where he is now. But he took it home and he beat a lot of seniors out that day. And it was just a great day to be around. The throwdowns are not anything fancy. We are getting after it. We are judging what you do that day. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what your stars are, what offers you have. Did you ball out that day consistently? And I always use the word consistently because it separates the pros from everybody else. Who does it the most often? And that's what I love about the throwdowns is the guy who won this year, I've never trained him. I've never met him. And he was on point all day, and he took it home and doesn't have a lot of clout in the QB game. But after watching him, he's just one other guy that has fallen through the cracks that is certainly a Division I player, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I've been around Dart a couple of times. We'll get into him in a minute and break him down a little bit more. So again, I think the camp setup is great. So you have, for those that don't know, you have kids on the field doing drills. You have them in the classroom learning different concepts, understanding the mental aspect of the game a little bit more, and then you put it all together in a competition. So
Right.
With the classroom portion of what you do in the camps, fill us in. What all are the kids being instructed on? What does that compromise, or what is the totality of that?
Well, this year was something really cool and interesting because I've never done the classroom aspect of it till I linked up with Chris Hickson from QBIQ, and he put a great spin on this camp because he does this full time. He goes all over the country and he does these seminars and these classroom exercises where he has his own philosophy, how he breaks down coverages. He was a NFL collegiate, he has a resume, and I think he's one of the brightest minds when it comes to the X's and O's of the quarterback game. And he has really established himself as the QB guy when it comes to understanding, pre and post snap reads, what you're looking at, quick triggers to help you anticipate. So we were able to add that this year, and I thought it was awesome, and it was a huge success. And I look forward to working with him more on these throwdowns and actually having him as kind of that add-on to this camp. It was an awesome experience for the kids.
Yeah, it was really well done. It wasn't like kids were sitting around for 20 minutes waiting for the next thing. It seemed to flow seamlessly. So with that transition from the classroom to the field and back and forth, but let's go back onto the field. What are some of the drills that you have the kids do in your camps?
I really try to push under center a lot, and the kids were complaining all day about it because they don't do under center often these days. So you see a lot of 5 steps, a lot of 5-step under center play actions. I even threw a 7-step in there. I want to see tempo, and I think getting the bigger the drops on your drop backs, the more you're going to get exposed with either great or bad footwork. So a lot of the things we do are we work the pocket out of big drops, but we also work off platform stuff. Quick game, RPOs, deep ball. We do everything. I really try to have an eclectic menu of what we're going to try to do because every kid does something a little better than everyone else. And so some guys are more pocket guys. When guys get out of the pocket, those guys show up a little bit more. So I really try to get a well-rounded feel for, hey, what's going to happen within a game? What's going to happen to you? We're not always going to have a clean pocket. You might always have a clean pocket. I don't know. Your line might be the New England Patriots, but every once in a while, you're going to have to do something with your feet, make magic happen. So I really try to throw curveballs at them throughout the day and try not to stay too, on a flow. I want to try to make them feel uncomfortable. So there should be their tempo and their flow should grow as the day progresses, but I don't ever want them getting comfortable like they know what's happening next. And that's what I really try to push with our items of what we're trying to, grade our scale on.
To use your words, be good or be great in those moments where the unexpected is happening, right? So not only with the kids that you coach on a day, week in, week out basis, however it may be, but also in Vegas from Saturday. So you see a wide eclectic group of kids. So both the positive and the negatives from the kids that are coming up through the ranks that, maybe haven't been with you for a long time. What are some of the positives that you're seeing from these kids in the new generation of quarterbacks? And what are some of the negatives that they could do better when they're training? What's something that these kids should be focused on?
I see it kind of as a double-edged sword. The technique has grown so quickly. The kids that are now 6th, 7th, 8th grade, their technique is 5 years ago, you would only see maybe 1 or 2 in a group like that the other day, but I was watching these kids and their technique is just unbelievable. And a lot of it has to do with social media and seeing, you know, other coaches and working with your own coach and just a lot, you know, like anything, the game evolves and training has become a huge market. And if you are a serious quarterback, you're going to have a coach with you every week. So you just see the development exponentially grow over the last 4 or 5 years. On the flip side of that, you see stylistically people trying to do things that I don't think they're actually ready for. A lot of Pat Mahomes impressions, a lot of, you know, messing with things that are, you know, amazing when it's done right. But I feel like we kind of try to jump to platforms too quickly, especially in that teenage era where you got to make sure we're crawling first before we walk, before we run. So I see a lot of guys try to get a little too sexy for, you know, for a better word, and trying to just make things happen instead of, hey, let's get the fundamentals down. Let's be Tom Brady before we can be Pat Mahomes. And so I kind of see it as a double-edged sword. Is it fun to watch? Yeah, but it also got some. You establish some bad habits, and you do not want to establish bad habits at that age because you can get caught in it, and it stunts your growth if you don't. So
yeah, I see so much of that, especially big camps where quarterbacks still flip the ball in their hands. You know, it's been snapped back to them, and they flip the ball when they're scanning the field.
yeah,
You know, those are really bad habit, and they do it all the time. That's just one thing. I didn't see that on Saturday, but I've seen the other camps. So speaking back to the beginning of your last answer there about the younger kids. So Bryce, he won the middle school competition. So I talked to him after the camp, and he blew me away. He seems so wise beyond his years, just from a mental aspect. But he carried himself as well when I was interviewing him, which will be coming out on the website here soon. But he carried himself as well as anybody could, you know, even a senior or junior in high school could. So how did he win the competition? What did he do well on Saturday to take home that belt?
He was consistent. His footwork was the best at the camp, in my opinion. His overall just wherewithal, how he carried himself from the beginning. He just kind of, when you see guys that just have a little bit more, they're just on top of things. You notice even at that age. He was sharp. He was clean. He didn't miss much. I don't think I saw him miss a ball all day. And he's got a great coach in Arizona. I think his name's Mike Giovanni. I always mess his last name, but he coaches a lot of big guys out in Arizona, and he's got this kid dialed in. And he was so impressive, not only on the field, but off the field, like you said, and you interview kids all the time. He may be one of the most well-spoken kids from high school down, and he was just knew what he wanted. He was within himself. Nothing got too big. He just was on point, and he's going to be a special person regardless of football. He's got a lot going for him.
I agree 100%. Like I said, he blew me away. He probably conducts himself better as an orator than me.
Yeah, I repeated the video like 2 or 3 times. I was like, this kid is impressive. Like, he did not stutter one time. He was on it.
Right. Again, better than what I do. So we talked about the middle school a little bit. So, the fun size portion of everything is the high school. These are the kids that are not only fighting for starting jobs, or they're the veterans at their school, but they're fighting for those scholarship offers. So who were some of the kids overall that caught your eye from the high school group on Saturday?
Man, there was 100 quarterbacks there. I was watching guys throw Sunday footballs all day. Like, the throws and the talent there it was the best group of talent I've ever been around with that large of a number. And a lot of guys I'd never seen in my life. The winner, obviously, Dartanian, was exceptional. He was exceptional. Every time I went through his group, he was amazing. And he was with some dogs. Like, Deacon Hill was in that group. Finn Collins was in that group. He doesn't have an offer yet. And those guys are going to play, big boy ball, and he's right up there with them. I loved Carson Conklin from Orange Lutheran looked great. Forrest Brock from Palisades looked great. Zach Siskowitz looked great. Darius Curry's going to be a young star. He's for a 24 kid. He's going to be exceptional. Samanza from Jay Sarah, I believe. The list goes on, Ryan. I saw so much talent out there. Justin Martin was putting on a show. I mean, there was a few guys from Arizona that I really loved. I wish I had their names down. If I had the list in the face, I could tell you. But I mean, there was so much talent out there, man.
I actually have it right here. Some others that caught my attention. Justin Gill, who's a California quarterback.
Yep.
Shea out of Long Beach Poly. I thought he threw really well. I think he's one of the top finalists out of his pod. I think, did you mention Jaden Donegal from Apple Valley? He 4-star stud. He was awesome. And then I think Zach Wren was the guy you're thinking of from Pinnacle. I didn't know who he was. I've interviewed Spencer and JD from Pinnacle in person. Didn't know who Zach was, had heard of him, watched him throw, and was like, this kid's got a gun for an arm, and pulled him aside. Got the interview in with him. And so he's just a sophomore too. He's going to be
Zach's going to be special. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was the most talent I've ever been around in one setting.
Yeah, he's got a good head on his shoulders too. So I know, there's been some sleep since then, some hours passed, but do you remember the top 4 that competed in that final throwdown, if you will?
So we had big Tyler Jensen, looked like a Lawrence kind of kid, about 6'6", 250 pounds. He was in the top 4. He ripped the crap out of the ball. Zach Siskowitz, the lefty, who I've been training for years, he rightfully should have been in there. He looked amazing. He was one throw away from winning the whole thing. Finn looks about as smooth as it gets. I think he's got one of the cleanest motions in the country. Darius Curry was there, the top 4. I think those are the top 4 guys that it actually ended up.
And Dart.
And obviously Dart. And I thought Finn was going to take it, and then Dart put on 5 throws back-to-back and didn't miss one and was on pace for every throw. And kid put on a show, man. He was on point all day.
For those that missed it, correct me if I'm wrong, his first throw was a fly, a go, and he may have uncorked that about 70 yards. And he waited for the guy to get on the field.
Funny. He put that ball about 65 yards right on him. And then he threw a comeback, a 20-yard comeback on a 7-step drop, did the same thing, man. Like, I was making these guys earn it. And
he Finn on the rollout to the left that you had them do. Finn, maybe an unfair comparison, remind me a lot of Aaron Rodgers, just that smooth, kind of effortless throw. It's one of the things I love about Finn. He's smooth. That's a credit to you. Tyler, who you mentioned, when he did that, he came out and just whipped it. But Dart, man, he had some smoke on that and was just dead on accurate. So those guys were getting after it. They were competing their hearts out for everyone there, showing out for sure. Yeah. So I think I know your answer to this next one. Because you said
I'm walking as I make sure my phone. So keep talking. I'm just going to charge my.
Okay. This is what happens when you go live, baby. I think I know what you're going to say in the next one. What separates the kids in the top 4 from the rest of the group?
Well, it's who's the most consistent.
I knew that's what you're going to say.
That's the only difference, man. Listen, we're in Los Angeles. This is who does it the most often. Who does it the most often? Are you the guy that looks great 1 out of 3 throws? Or are you the guy that's 3 out of 3? And that's the only difference. Everyone has talent. Everyone has a big arm. And it's, all right, now who does it the most often? Who can the coach trust the most often? That's who's going to be on the field.
Speaking to our generation, I think we just got a QB Cribs MTV style of Sam Fisher's house. Getting to see multiple aspects of the house. All right. We've talked about Dart, the championship belt. Like you mentioned, I think he has the Lake Erie offer, doesn't have the D1. So we've talked about him in different ways. What do you see of him? So again, we talked about Ryan Helinski. He won out as a true freshman, South Carolina, this last year, got the starting job. You've seen a lot of those type of guys. What do you see of Dartanian's talent in relation to the other D1 guys that you've sent on to the collegiate level?
Well, he's he's a beast of a man. He's 6'5", all of 6'5". He's got to be 220 pounds. Usually guys at that age that are that big are really clunky. He is not that. His footwork is on point. He understands his body. It blows my mind that he has only one offer, and it's a D2 offer. No knock on D2, but this guy's a Power 5 quarterback. I know what I'm looking at, and I don't know if he's blossomed. I've watched his junior tape. I watched it right after I got home just to double check. It's good. It's definitely good enough to have more than he has, but I think there's been a transition this year. And I really hope guys like him get this season, because those are the guys that are going to need it more than anybody, because he is all of that and some. And coaches really need to keep their eyes on, like, seriously, I hope this gives him a little bit more street cred and some recruiting juice, because he is not a one-off type of guy. The dude can spin it, and he's a real deal.
We talked about his arm strength. You mentioned his footwork. I don't know if it was a 5-step drop that you had them do, and it looked like he covered about 20 yards. I thought he was going to run off the I mean, and he got back in a hurry. I mean, he's got those long legs.
Yeah, he wasn't off balance. He hit it, and he sunk into his drop, and he was nice, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. So let's look ahead here. So what's next for the QB throwdown camps?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of getting my ceiling redone. Sorry, Ryan. I'm gonna go into one more room.
Okay.
That's in my outdoor patio. It's my favorite room right here.
There you go.
I do feel like I'm in cribs.
Yeah, maybe the QB RNG crib style, and yeah,
Okay.
Zoom style, the new generation.
That's what happens when you got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Man, you're always on the run.
Gotcha.
All right.
So the question, so looking ahead, so what do you want to do with the QB throwdown camps? What's your vision? What do you want to see happen?
I think it's starting to really take place where it's I want it to be a go-to camp. I want it to be a camp where people feel like they can leave their ego at the door. They can leave their name and their hype and whatever they have or don't have, and come in and get a fair crack at getting some legit exposure. And not just about winning the thing, but always, sizing you up with the other guys that are there. I want it to be a place where people can have fun, but also get after it. And that's how I go about my business. And I feel like if you can do that and feel like it's not about a clout show or a game where you already know who's going to be the guy, I think that takes some things out of it. So I try my best to not judge anything, because I want my coaches that I bring on to be very impartial. If that's the best guy in your group, I don't care if you beat out 3 of my guys that I train personally. That was the guy that showed out. So that's really the vision. I want this to be something where kids travel from all over to do it. I want to find a way to make it where I can find winners from each region and do like a super throwdown at the end, and maybe make it like the top 10. Very Elite 11 like. Their style is awesome when it comes to that. But I love competing, and I want it to be fair, and I want it to be fun.
So do you see this as something, so you've done the camp in California, in Nevada. So you're looking to maybe take it to different regions going forward?
Well, I did one in Hawaii. I've done one in Fresno. So I'm probably going to do Hawaii again, just because it's Hawaii. And I love being out there because the people out there are just so awesome to be around, and they're so hungry to work and improve. So, and the quarterbacks that are happening out there, it's no joke. That is a quarterback island, man. Like, there's some dudes. So I love going out there. The guy who won last year, who was king of the island, his name's Jaden Delora. He's now the Wazoo QB. So there's dudes that are coming out of there, and it's certainly a destination spot. Obviously, you can't get out there too much. It's going to be harder for guys to travel there. But the island of Hawaii needs to get more exposure, and I try to do my best for them. But I'd love to take this to the East Coast. I'll probably end up in Texas at some point doing it. I see myself trying to do at least two or three a year right now.
Well, Hawaii or Texas, let me know. I'd love to be there for
it. I love you anytime, man. I love you there. You do an awesome job, man.
Oh, thank you for the kind words. Thanks for the nice plug there. So if kids in California or across the country want to get in touch with you, what are some of the best ways that they can reach out to you? If you're on social media or the website, tell them where they can find you.
I try to check my DMs as often as I can. It's not the most efficient way because some fall through the cracks. You can email me at throwtowin@gmail.com. You can obviously contact me through Twitter, Instagram, but those three things. If you go to my website, throwtowin.com, I don't have a throwdown registration, but you have information if you want to contact me. What I'll probably end up doing is putting a throwdown, like just hit the regional spots of what's next, and you can kind of pre-register that way. Because I think I'm going to probably turn this around and try to do one more at the end of the year. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, website.
All right. So before we go, this is the last question, kind of a curveball. I've been alluding to this for a couple of questions and answers here and there. So without divulging our ages, I can kind of tell we're from the same generation. So one of my fun spots in the Twitter universe are your videos, your fun videos that you put out there. So since you're the producer, writer, director of those, how can someone like me be on one of those videos going forward? I want to be immortalized in a fun, sitcom-esque, QB related manner, even if I'm just, whatever, a stand-in or an extra, whatever you have.
I got to do it with you, me, and Finn. Finn's my Leonardo DiCaprio. I got to get you in there, dude. We'll do one. You got to understand that I don't wake up thinking about these. This happens in 2 minutes, and then we film it and I edit it and it's done. So it's very spontaneous. It's all inspirational. I'm half artist, half athlete, and when I feel something, we take it. And these kids all know how to hit their mark and say their lines. They're all raised with a camera in front of them, so it makes me look good.
There you go. Well, I actually asked Finn about that. The interview hasn't been posted yet, but I asked him about being part of the videos too. So that's something for everybody to tune in and check out. I love that stuff. The way you do it, very sitcom 80s style is great. So Sam, I appreciate it for breaking everything down, for having me out on Saturday again. It was, and I told you this privately to tell everybody, it was one of the best well-run camps I've been to. Everything flowed. You had a lot to offer for the kids, from the mental, the physical, and then allowing them to compete. And like you said, there wasn't a biased part about it. Everybody was out there. Whoever was great that day, that's how it went for them. So that was fantastic. I've been to a lot of camps where these things have been predetermined, if you will, or so it seems.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sam, thank you for your time. I know we talked for a long time today. I'm excited to see what happens next for QB. Go down camps and keep us in the loop. Let us know what's going on.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Always a pleasure, brother.
No worries. Take care.
All right, bye.
You still there?
Yeah, man.